Join me, Kallie Beck, with travel specialist Jenni from Compass Travel to hear all about her 7 night Very Merrytime Cruise on the Disney Treasure. Hey Jenni, I am Kallie with Compass Travel, and I'm here with Jenni, who is another incredible agent, and I would say the guru in the agency for all things cruising. So I thought we could get to know Jenni a little bit and get to know a little bit about a recent trip she just took that has me super inspired to go on this ship and this cruise in particular. So Jenni, introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Jenni Mc Gillivray, and I am a platinum Disney cruiser, and I love Disney cruising. So I try to get on each ship. I try to do a variety of sailings. And I love to talk about them. So this is perfect.
Awesome. So you've been on a few cruises lately, but your most recent one was pretty special, extra magical maybe, especially because you were there with family and there was some exciting moments there. So tell me a little bit about just this most recent trip. Why were you taking it, and how did you decide on this particular sailing?
We recently went on the Disney Treasure, and we did a very maritime cruise. And I wanted to do this cruise. To be honest, I didn't necessarily want to do Very Merrytime. I wanted to do Halloween because my goal is to do Halloween on every ship. However, that didn't work out. So I was not disappointed. I booked the Very Merrytime, and my daughter and her now fiance decided to join my husband and I. So that was pretty cool because sailing with your adult kids when you've sailed with them when they're kids is just it's pretty cool. So it was a very special. They actually got engaged on the cruise, so it was very cool. But I love the holidays. I love the holidays with Disney, period. But I love the holidays on the sea. It's just amazing. Disney does it like no other. You walk on the ship and you're just in awe. It's amazing.
I think
So
one of
very
the
cool.
things, yeah, one of the things that I don't think people realize is, Disney is obviously a premium price for a cruise. You've sailed on a lot of different. I mean, you sail on the different ships. What is it that you would say makes Disney kind of like step above when you compare to things like Virgin or Royal or Carnival or all the other cruise, lines that are out there? Obviously, there's tons of options, but what is it that really sets it apart in general, would you say?
Number one for me is the customer service. Like, that's just there's no other. I mean, they really take the time to make things extra special, to make the moments happen for you, to make the memories. And I am on making memories. Like, I take tons of photographs when I'm on the ship. Like, I love to do all that because I want to capture every moment, and they make that extra special. The photo opportunities you have on the ship, super cool. You do get magic shots on the ship, just like you do in Walt Disney World. Um, but it's just you get to know your servers, for example, your serving team, they go with you. So each night for dinner, with the exception of going to a specialty restaurant like Palo, but in the main dining rotation, your serving team goes with you. So they get to know you. They get to know what you like, what you don't like. If you have dietary concerns, they are on it. Like, they make sure to a T that you are covered. And it's super cool. You form a bond, and I'm not even gonna lie, we have cried when we left because we felt so bad leaving that server team behind. And it's the same thing with the stateroom host or hostess. You get to know them, you form a connection, and to me, that's important.
One of the things I was talking to a friend about recently is that Disney is known for service. Doesn't matter if it's the parks. Disney does really prioritize training and hiring and really making sure that the cast members, no matter where you are delivering incredible service. But I also feel like the cruise is probably the pinnacle of service because you have such a higher ratio of cast members to guests. When you're in the parks and there's tens of thousands of people coming through the gates, you can't get as much of that one-on-one. While the interactions are amazing, I do feel like the cruise kind of encapsulates that amazing service and does it in a way that's even higher level than what you get when you're in the resorts. Is that, I mean, would you agree? Is that something you've experienced from your different sailings?
Yep, 100%. And, like, it sounds weird because the ships are huge, but you are seeing people continually. So it aside from even your serving team and your stateroom host or hostess, you're seeing the people in the shops. You're seeing the people that the entertainment staff. You're seeing them throughout, and you do create a bond with certain ones. And it's just, it's so cool. And it helps you make those memories even more special. Like one of the photographers just like was so over the moon for my daughter and her fiance and like took extra time to take special pictures with her after her shift was done. Like that was cool. She didn't have to do that. We didn't ask. She just was like, "You guys got engaged. Come over here. Let me do this really quick." It was awesome.
Yeah. Oh, I love that they got engaged on the ship and that you were there too, and you were part of the whole experience. So I want to talk
Yeah.
about kind of how the whole trip went. I know it was a 7 night cruise, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so
Mhm.
we talked about going with your husband, with your daughter, now almost son-in-law, soon to be. But walk me a little bit through kind of getting on board. What was the first day like for you? What are some pro tips that you have when you're, getting that first day, getting on the ship and kind of kicking things off?
Okay, so day one, you're waiting, you go through the whole process to get on the ship. And as you walk on, one of my favorite things is they announce your family name. They welcome you onto the ship. And I think that is, it's just a fun moment. It makes you just feel special because they're announcing your entrance. And we have done Disney cruises for so many years and so long that we kind of have our routine down to a T. We know that we're going to go probably try to go eat first because everybody else is going all over the place. The restaurant or the buffet isn't going to be as busy at that time. So go do that. So then you can do everything else. And one of my pro tips is definitely make sure you pack your swimsuit or wear your swimsuit onto the ship with like shorts, cover up dress, whatever over the top, but have that stuff with you because you can go enjoy the pool before you can get to your room because rooms don't open until around 1:30 because they're still making sure they're perfect for you and you have the opportunity to kind of explore the ship. Do it. Do it. Explore the ship because once you know the lay of the land, you can get around anywhere super quick and it's just nice. So having that kind of preliminary like mapping out of everything makes your experience so much easier.
Yeah, and I think
So
that
that's always our first thing.
the app is so helpful too because even before you go to hit that explore button and be able just to kind of see what happened, like just get an idea of what's on each deck, know where your
Mhm.
cabin is, where your stateroom's going to be, and know where the closest stairs might be or where are the kids clubs if that's something you're doing. I think using the app before you even go can be such a relief because it's overwhelming. There's a lot of people, there's a lot to do, and especially, I mean, you have 7 days to explore, which is fantastic. But if you're going on a short sailing, you don't want to take up as much time trying to figure it out last minute. So I like that. It's good advice.
And one other tip that I will say is book the ship tour. They've renamed them. I think now it's called the Imagineering of the Disney ships. Do the ship tour. Not only do you learn like cool facts and tips about the ship, but you learn your way around because the carpeting, the details, they tell you where you are.
Mhm.
And you learn that on that tour. It's free. You book it in the app, you show up, you walk around with headsets. Everybody is looking at you like, are they VIPs or what? It's so fun. Highly recommend it. Do it for every ship. You will not regret it.
Awesome. So what else happens when you get on the ship? You said you get the lay of the land, have your swim stuff. What else are you sure to do on that first day?
So as soon as we can get into our rooms, I usually, because I'm a big door decorator, so I usually have my magnets and all the things tucked into my carry-on that I've brought on the ship. So that's the first thing I do is I decorate that door. And then we usually just put our stuff down and get back out to exploring. You in that moment, you may be able to meet your stateroom host or hostess, and which is great because they want to know your name, they want to be sure to use your name. And just meeting them kind of just makes things feel a little more like cozy and family oriented. And you're just kind of preparing for all the activities of the day. I highly recommend going in the app and hearting, which is favoriting the activities that you really want to do. I actually go in right away and do it for the whole time I'm going to be on the ship. And it just makes it easy because it'll pop up and tell you little reminders. And I check out where we're going for dinner that night because that's going to determine what I'm going to wear that night. Our first night was Coco, so we were sure to have our Coco attire on, and it was a lot of fun, very interactive. We actually had Coco 3 nights of our trip,
Okay.
and the middle night was pirate night, so that has a theme of its own.
Mhm.
And then the first night and the last night were Coco themed. There was singing, there was entertainment, and it was phenomenal.
Oh, that's awesome. And that's this is the only ship that has a Coco themed anything on it. So this is Coco fans, the treasure is your ship.
Yep, for sure. Just the treasure in general, like the theming of it is absolutely stunning. You walk in and you see Aladdin and Jasmine and the colors, and it's a stunning ship.
So
One of my favorites for sure.
okay, so tell me a little bit about what are those I want to go through the days that you have. We talked about the first day, Coco.
Yep.
From your perspective, how would you describe this ship? I mean, we know that it's adventure themed, but what are some things that you would use if you're, someone looking at all the options, all the different ships and saying, "How do I pick? How do I know which one's the right one?"
So I kind of, when I am talking to my guests, I kind of go with like what their main things are that they love about Disney. Tell me
Mhm.
the characters you like. Tell me the themes that you like because that helps dictate the ship. Do you like crowds? Do you like a smaller ship? Like, you kind of need to ask those questions. But I will say that no matter the size of the ship, there are moments that you feel like you're the only person on there. So don't ever be afraid of the size of that ship because the way Disney moves everything through, you're going to be okay. But the colors of this one, it's because I've been on the Wish as well, and the Wish is more princess, brighter. This is a little more darker. It kind of had my fantasy heart because fantasy is my number one ship. Um, it feels very royal, very majestic, very just, I don't know, you just feel like you're in a palace almost the way that it is. It's stunning. You look up and see the beautiful chandelier. It's very cool. There's a big stage where they have entertainment there. The carolers were on there. Mickey and Minnie. You do photos up there. So it's a very cool that whole area you walk into is just it's beautiful. But the whole ship itself is just stunning.
So, first day you had Coco. What is
Mhm.
what's day two? When you wake up, what's your plan for day two?
So day 2 was a sea day, and we had dinner that night at 1923, and that was formal night.
Okay.
So you you don't have to dress up, but we like to dress up. My husband usually brings his tux along. We kind of go all out. And we make sure that we hit up those pictures. Like I said, I'm a very picture oriented person. I like to capture those memories. So we always get the photo package. So we hit up every picture opportunity and they have drinks when you're walking around taking the pictures. They will walk around with a tray of drinks, and there is a non alcoholic option, and I think 2 to 3 alcoholic options. And those are free at that time for everybody to enjoy. And you would either can take your pictures before or after your meal, and sometimes we do both. And it's just a really cool, special night because, I mean, most people on average aren't getting dressed up and doing that on a regular basis. So it's kind of fun to take that opportunity and enjoy it. So that was, and then after that, we might have gone to the Haunted Mansion parlor because I couldn't wait any longer.
So, those of you who don't know, Jenny and I, we have texted. We both have a deep, deep appreciation for the Haunted Mansion, and this ship has the Haunted Mansion parlor. So I need you to tell me about it because I was having FOMO the whole time you were gone, and the pictures that you brought back are incredible. But tell me more about that lounge.
It was amazing. Like, even the hallway that you walk into, the first day, I did not notice that when we walked in, but when you walk down that hallway, it is coffin shaped. I did not notice that at first. And I took a picture and I was like, wait a second. So that was very cool. The details, when you walk past, there's a mirror, and when you leave, Madame Leota will say, well, goodbye, come back, things like that. It's very cool. You walk in the door, and the first thing you see is that amazing fish tank with the skeletons
Hmm.
swimming around. And that is so cool. The environment itself, though, the pictures on the wall, they're changing that just like in the Haunted Mansion itself. You're seeing that, but it has a whole different theme. So it's not the same as the Haunted Mansion. There's no constants in this one. Um, but it's about a sea captain, and he marries a lady, and she happens to be something that he doesn't realize. I don't want to give it all away.
No, don't.
It's very cool, and they do have the famous Donald Duck chair in there. people don't know what that is, the chair that you look at it, it kind of looks like Donald Duck. That's in there. The fireplace is super cool. And every 45 minutes, it goes through, I want to say, a show. You'll see different things happening. I don't want to give everything away, but it's definitely worth going, sitting there, just enjoying the atmosphere. It's a lot of fun. One time we were sitting there and one of the bartenders came up and handed me a bell. And I just kind of looked at him and he said, just wait, you'll know what you need to do. And I did when the time was right. So it was very cool that it was interactive, that they included us in it. And that just made it extra special. We got a little extra time in there versus the average person because we did book the Haunted Mansion photo shoot, which
Awesome.
was a half-hour session. We got about 100 pictures, and it was a lot of fun, for
Those
sure.
pictures, and I will pop a couple in this video so people can see a couple of them because it just is so exciting. I think the immersion that they can create in these smaller spaces, and it's similar to what they've done with Beacon Barrel at Magic Kingdom, right, where you feel like there's like an interactive element that happens. But I do imagine that they'll take a lot of what they're learning from their ships, especially the more recent ships, and maybe incorporate some of that into the new park expansions. I just have a feeling that we won't see this won't be the only time we'll see a Haunted Mansion lounge bar or something, hopefully.
I don't think so. I think you're right. I think they'll have to keep going with it. There's so many people that love it, and it was just such a awesome experience that any Haunted Mansion fan would definitely appreciate. Even if you're not a Haunted Mansion fan, it's just a lot of fun.
Awesome. So you've got on this itinerary, how many sea days did you have and how many days in port did you have?
We had, well, not including the first day because that's your boarding day. We had 2 sea days, and then we had Grand Cayman, Cozumel. We were supposed to have Jamaica, but unfortunately, that was removed due to the hurricane. So in place of that, we got Lookout Key. And then we had Castaway Key. So it was very cool. I loved that I got to go back to both islands because the first time I had gone to Lookout was in May this year. And I wanted to see how much it had changed, and the vegetation and things had grown quite a bit. So it was neat to see that. But it's a both Castaway and Lookout are absolutely stunning. And if you have not been, I mean, I would just go if they would just bring me to those islands. I'd be fine
Right.
with that.
I feel that way too, especially on the shorter sailings. Like I'm there for the private island experiences. I think those are really, really special. For people who have not been to Disney's private islands, can you give us a little 101 on kind of what they are and what kind of things are to do there?
Yeah, so for Lookout, the first thing I want to say about that is the pier is not that traumatizing, I promise. It really is not. That's the first thing. Like I heard a lot of first timers that were going look out the window and they were like, "Oh my gosh," and it's not that bad. It looks very daunting, but once you're on it, you hear the music, you have the breeze, you turn around and see the ship behind you. It's very cool and it's easy. And they do have carts that take you back and forth. They do have wagons for kids. So that's nothing to worry about. Once you get on the island, you have another little tram to the other side of the island. So that's nice because you get to kind of just take in all the scenery and enjoy everything. And once you get to the main part, it is very cool because right away you're seeing the very cool theming. They have really, I love what they did with Lookout because they really brought in the local everything, the colors, the just everything. They have a shop there that sells local products from people, and it's just very immersive in the culture, and I love that they did that. And they do explain why the pier is the way it is, and that is to protect the reef and to protect the ecosystem, which is very important. And they talk about Junkaroo, which is a celebration, and they teach you about that. You get to make crafts, participate, and then they have a big celebration at the end, which is very cool when the musicians come out and play, and then Mickey and Minnie they're dancing. So that aspect of it is very cool. There's of course a children's play area. The food on the island is wonderful. There's an adult beach, a family beach. You have your own private area where you don't have to worry about somebody trying to sell you something or anything. You know that it's just a great area. You can relax, have fun without any stress. It is different than Castaway because you can see other ships that are on the island because it's not just Disney's island. So there was also, I believe, a Carnival ship that was on the other end of the island that day, but you don't see any of those passengers. It's just Disney in that area. So it's very nice. Castaway is different because that is all Disney. So they don't occupy or they don't have things on the whole island, but you walk off the ship and you just still feel very Disney. Like there's a character meet and greet right there at the post office. Usually Donald and Daisy are hanging out there. There's photo opportunities with Jack Sparrow to take a picture in front of the ship or just various areas. There's shops, there's Pelican Plunge. It's all very Disney. You have an opportunity to have your kids in the kids club if you want on the island, which is super cool. Excursions on both islands that you can do are very fun. You have everything you need without having to worry about anything, and you're all in that little Disney bubble, which is wonderful.
I think it's important to note when you're in a private island like that, you also, all of the things that are included in your sailing are included on the island. You're not having to worry about paying for the dinner and the extra things. I mean, obviously, if you add some drinks in, you're going to pay for those on your own, but it's not like you have to worry about bringing your wallet with you and kind of going through the process of, "Oh, how much am I budgeting for this and that?" So I think it is an extension of your inclusions that you get on the ship when you are in those islands, and that's such a fun, thing to take off the mental load a little bit when you're going and exploring.
It is because I know other cruise lines have islands and it's not the same setup. You have to
Right.
pay for so many extra things. Where like you said, the food, the drinks like soda, water, that those things are included. Ice cream. They have the unlimited ice cream on the island. So you can still have that treat. There's cookies. There's lots of things that are included that you don't feel like you have to about paying for more.
Yeah. All right. So you make the most of your island time, and I love that. And then you make the most of just this amazing ship. So you talked about Coco, you talked about 1923. Tell me about the other dining you had on board on your trip.
So I'm trying to think of what the first night, because I'm getting the 2 nights mixed up right now because we had, the engagement was thrown in there. So so that threw me for a loop. Um, so let me go back to 1923 though,
Mhm.
because I wanna say something about that. That is a very cool experience if you have not been in there. The look at the walls, look at the cases. All of the history that is in there is so cool. Don't miss that because there's little details in there that you're gonna kinda be blown away by. So take the opportunity. I think when you walk in there, because it's not a show as well, a lot of people overlook that, and it's easy to overlook because you just kinda sit down, they're taking your order and, you start talking and engaging with your party, and then all of a sudden you look up and you're like, "Oh, wow, look at that. Look at that." Because one side is about Walt Disney and one side is about Roy Disney. So make sure that, like you pay attention in 1923. Just wanted to throw that out there. The third restaurant was Worlds of Marvel, which is very cool because there is the show that I don't won't give away anything about that. And there is a character appearance in that one, which is very fun. The second night, they continue the show, and there's a little celebration that you don't want to miss because that's a lot of fun. We did not get to experience that when we were on the Wish because those sailings are only 3 and 4 night.
Right.
So it was very cool to see what happened the second night in Worlds of Marvel. Again, that's another one. Pay attention to the details. When you walk down the hallway, there are just some super cool little things that might be easy to overlook, but check those out because it's a very cool environment. The show is super cool. It has some throwbacks in it, which
Okay.
I think Disney fans will appreciate. There's some fun throwbacks in there that you definitely need to get on the ship and go to that show for sure.
Okay, that's awesome. So tell me more about some of the other entertainment on board. What were some of the things that you took advantage of watching or seeing or doing while you were on this cruise?
So we were very lucky that Zootopia 2 had come out. So we got to go in Walt Disney Theater, the big theater where usually the stage shows are, and we got to watch it. So it was a lot of fun. It was totally packed.
Yeah.
And it was just that was a really cool experience. We've gotten to see a couple premiere movies in the theaters over the years, and that's a cool experience. Don't pass that up. We also got to see the Moana stage show in there, which was phenomenal. But I will warn you, get in line because I'm
Okay.
not even kidding. 30 to 45 minutes before, get in line because the theater just is packed and they were turning people away. And we went to the afternoon performance.
Okay.
So make sure because everybody wants to see it
Hmm.
and it's definitely worth it. So just make sure you get in line a little bit early for that. Um, there's lots of things that go on throughout the entire cruise as well. Trivia, go do that if you're a trivia buff. Get those medals that you can win.
Hmm.
The Sarabi Lounge had a lot of really fun game shows. Our favorite is Match Your Mate, which is kind of like a newlywed game type game. It's adults only in the Sarabi Lounge, and they will seat kids and kick them out because it is adult humor. It's funny. And but it's still, within the limits it needs to be, but it's a really good time. So definitely check out those lounges. Like I said, the ship tour was definitely a cool thing, entertainment wise. We had, because it's very merry time, so we had a holiday party, which was a lot of fun. You go up on deck, same area that the sail away party would be in, and they have a whole little performance that they put on. It's about a half hour long, and you don't want to miss that. We got the carolers came out and sang, which was amazing. And then we had Santa Claus and we had Mrs. Claus that came out and did story time, which was very cool. There was a couple other little shows in there on the stage that had Mickey and Minnie just dancing and singing, and there was a story time as well. Lots of entertainment throughout. It just depends on what you would like to do and the time that you have. There's towel folding classes. You're never going to have a dull moment unless you want to, which I like to have that downtime. My favorite thing sometimes is going on deck, sitting in the lounge chair, and I might fall asleep, maybe.
And you can because you're on vacation.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I feel like you did so much, but the ship has so much to offer. 7 nights is probably exactly what it should be for as much as you can do there. What was one highlight for you? If you look back at the whole trip and you said that's the highlight of our whole cruise, what was it?
My daughter getting engaged. Aside from that, honestly, because I am such a Haunted Mansion fan, it was the Haunted Mansion parlor. It really was. I could not wait to get in there, and it gets busy very quickly. But once you're about halfway through, it's much easier. Like you can walk right in, find a seat, sit down. We sat in there one night for about 45 minutes to an hour, and that was perfect because we got to see the whole show. Another very cool aspect highlight was Skipper Society, which is actually right outside of the Haunted Mansion parlor, and they do trivia and things like that. They had a band performing several times throughout, but it's just a really neat little area to sit down with your family, friends, whatever, and just connect.
Mhm.
So that was definitely a highlight too, with Skipper Society.
So if there's anything you could change about your trip, if you were to do it again, would you make any changes?
I would want it to be longer always.
True.
I would live on the ship. If they would just let me stay at Castaway Key, I'd be fine with that. But overall, no. But I will warn people, like when you go on a very maritime cruise, I heard someone say that she was disappointed because she thought it was going to be all Christmas all the time. And it is not.
Mhm.
You have the holiday party and there are things throughout, but there's one day that they're playing Christmas music throughout the whole day. The other days they're playing the Disney music.
Mhm.
And this lady was unfortunately disappointed in that. I hadn't even registered it like that because I you see the tree, you see all the decor, like it felt like I was immersed in Christmas. But she didn't. And when she said that, I made a mental note that I want to make sure I communicate that to people. It's not the whole thing all the time.
That's
It's the Disney
good to know.
experience all the time, not the holiday experience all the time.
Yes, no, that is so good to know. So, with just a little over a minute left of our time together, is there any advice you would give to anyone going on this trip for the first time?
Definitely find your travel advisor. Find somebody that you trust that has the knowledge and wants to help you make the best of your trip. Those memories are so important. Don't don't let just anybody handle it. Work with someone that cares and wants to help you make the most of your adventure because it does make a difference. Having that information beforehand, those tips, those suggestions, it does make a difference because it can be very overwhelming and overstimulating. So having someone with that knowledge makes a big difference.
Well, Jenni, you are my go-to. You are my guru for all things cruising. And if anyone needs any help with their trips, Jenni would be an incredible asset to help make all of those dreams come true. But thank you for walking me through your recent sailing. I know we're going to talk more in future videos of other trips you've been taking because you are traveling all the time and it's wonderful. But thank you for being here. And if anyone needs any help, reach out to Jenni, and all of her information is going to be in the comments as well.
Thank you very much. It was great. I'm glad that you had me do this.
Yeah, thank you.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, happy holidays. It's official.